Hi there, welcome to a series of videos called English for Emerson. On this channel we learn basic English reading and writing. You need something to write with, you need something to write on, and here we go. We've been learning folk sayings. I'll put that up here. Folk sayings are the sayings of our ancestors. They teach some wisdom. Put that up here, wisdom. What's wisdom? Wisdom is knowledge that comes with experience. It's important to learn some of these folk sayings and get familiar with them because they help us to learn English, but they also help us to stand on the shoulders of our ancestors. And why would we want to do that? Well, because our ancestors were very, very smart. They didn't have all the modern conveniences that we have today, all the TVs and phones and computers and all that nonsense. They were out there chasing after chickens and chopping wood and, banging out horseshoes out of metal at the forge. But in all that time that they survived in what is now a world that is long gone, they learned so much wisdom. And if we don't learn from our ancestors, then we have to reinvent the wheel. Reinvent the wheel. What does that mean? We have to start from scratch. We have to start from nothing because, face it, when you're born, you don't know anything. So by learning your language, you benefit from the wisdom of your ancestors. That's what this is all about. Here we go. We got a good one today. We're going to start with a capital A. Diagonal. Then we put this one here. And then we go across. Very, very nice letter A. There's a kind of house called an A-frame. A lot of times they build them up in the mountains because they have a steep roof, like a capital A. And the snow goes off it easily. Extremely simple house, easy to build, A-frame. I don't think it's very livable because it's so narrow and skinny, but, people like them for a cabin. A, leopard. This is an L. That spells leopard. Do you know what a leopard is? I'll put up a picture of one up here. A leopard is a big, huge cat. It's a member of the cat family. It's a feline. I'm just going to stop here and talk about this word leopard. Good night. Would you look at this? L-E-O-P-A-R-D spells leopard. Now we know that, for example, if I wanted to say bed, like go to bed, put that up here, go to bed, the word B-E-D spells bed. The E makes the sound eh. Now, I could also say, have you read this book? Have you read this book? Well, the word read, R-E-A-D, the E-A makes it sound eh. Now look at this. We got leopard. The combination of letters E-O makes the sound eh. Leopard. It's not leopard, it's leopard. Crazy, crazy, crazy English. I got 3 different combinations of letters right here. E, E-A, and E-O that are all able to make the sound eh. And there's probably other ways to do it too. But that's crazy English. It's so hard to read and write it because the combinations of letters do a lot of different things. We remember that it was just the other day that I taught you the word people. People. Well, P-E-O-P-L-E spells people. The E-O in people made the sound E, people. It's not People, it's people. Well, the E-O in people makes the E. The E-O in leopard makes the eh. Crazy English. I don't know what to say. It's tough. Real tough. And you just have to practice, okay? Now we got another word here. I wonder if you can spell this thing out. It kind of looks to me like doesn't. Doesn't. But that's not what it spells. This spells doesn't. Doesn't. It combines does not into one word. Doesn't. The apostrophe here, you can see how that little dashed line kicks out the O and not. Kicks it out. And shortens this word up into this thing from two words into one and spells doesn't. You know, this is an interesting word, does. I'll put it up here. Does. I remember when I was in school one time, and we had a spelling test or something like this. I can't remember what it was, but I was in class, and I had to stay in the classroom and not go out and play during playtime because I could not figure out how to spell the word does. And I got to tell you, this word doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Check it out. You got do, that's D-O. If you put an E on the end of it, that spells doe. A doe is a female deer. Doe, a deer, a female deer. Ray, a drop of golden sun. Me, a name I call myself. Far, a long, long way to run. Anyway. Sorry. Doe spells, D-O-E spells doe. It's a female deer. Now, if you add, oh, there's that air conditioner. Gosh darn it. Now, this lesson is not going well. But that's what it is when you have a free lesson. Oh my gosh. Check this out. If I put an S on the end of doe, it changes it into does. Now look at this. Do, do, does. That O changes its sound 3 times. Gosh darn English. Well, that's just the way it goes. I don't know what to tell you. This spells does. D-O-E-S, does. Like, does this car go fast? Does this car go fast? Do you follow me? Yes, it does. It does go fast. Well, that's a little lecture all about this crazy word does. I mean, that's a tough one. Because that O changes sounds depending on what comes after it. English. A leopard doesn't change. I know, you're probably thinking, is this lesson ever going to end? Maybe not. Oh gosh, I'm running out of board. I just made it. A leopard doesn't change its spots. Now the refrigerator's coming on. First I had the air conditioner and now I got the refrigerator coming on. Thankfully that's pretty quiet. A leopard doesn't, this is change. Notice that that's a silent E at the end. I got another vowel in that word. Therefore the E at the end is silent. CH is change its spots. This is a classic folk saying right here. I don't mind telling you. This is a classic folk saying right here. Here we got a leopard. Okay? The spots of the leopard throughout its life are not going to change. They don't move around. Well, who cares about that? Why would this be a folk saying? Well, the old folks were using this leopard as an example just about life in general. Things and people, countries, cities, but mostly they're talking about people. Mostly they're talking about people, but it could really be about any living thing, and to a certain degree, but I think they were mostly applying it to people. They were saying that people don't change very much. And although some people do change in their life very, very much, you'll be surprised how much people don't change over the years. For example, I've known my Grandma Sue for 54 years. She's gone through changes in the time that I've known her during all that time. 54 years is a long time to know somebody. But when you go and sit down and talk to her, she really hasn't changed that much from that whole time. Well, yeah, there's been changes, but pretty much that's the same person. You know, one of the biggest problems I've had in my life, I'm going to come right out and admit it, is accepting this. You know, if somebody does something that bothers you, it's fine to point it out one time or two times, but after that, you have to accept people for how they are. They're probably not going to change much. And I've been guilty. I admit it. I admit it. I've been guilty of having a bad habit of complaining. That someone I don't like something that they do, and I keep on bringing it up. I have had a tendency to do that. It's a bad habit. Because what are people supposed to do? They're probably not going to change very much. It's just how they are. So it's best. It's okay to tell people something, but somebody that something bothers you, but I would not expect them to probably change. And if they don't, it's probably best to either accept it the way it is or try to spend time away from them, because their personality and just how they are is probably not going to change very much. Now, I love my mom, Grandma Sue. I love my mom, but I have to admit, there's things that she's done over the course of that 54 years that have gotten on my nerves. They've gotten on my nerves, and I'm sure that there's things that she's known me for 54 years. I'm sure there's things about me that get on her nerves. Well, are we going to, every time we see each other, bring these things up? And, you know, we could, but it probably wouldn't help. It probably wouldn't help. It's best to laugh about it and accept things about ourselves and others, because we're probably not going to change that much. We can try, and we might change, but it's probably best to try to have some acceptance. Acceptance means you just relax and allow yourself and other people to be who they are, because that's just how we're probably, there's a high possibility that we might not change very much. It's been very hard for me. This has been a hard lesson for me to learn in my life. A leopard doesn't change its spots. And that's all I got to say on this edition of English for Emerson. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.